Hello, and thank you all for joining us. I'm Paul Clifford, CEO of the Penn State Alumni Association. I want to welcome everybody into today's virtual speaker session. We'll be getting started in just a minute. If you want to let us know who you are and where you're zooming in from, you can drop that information in the chat at the bottom of your screen. We are just a couple minutes away from getting started. Thanks for joining us. If you are just joining us, go ahead and let us know who you are and where you're zooming in from in the chat at the bottom of your Zoom video window. We'll be getting started in just a minute with today's virtual speaker series. I see Dave Chappelle from Boston or near Boston, Jay Patel from founder and CEO of Clear Peak Capital Management in Pittsburgh. I see Betsy Duff joining us, Jacob Hitero joining us. Let's see, Dave Titley from State College is here. Kenyon Jenks from Hershey. Damian Proctor joining us from Atlanta. And Kerry Ryan from Washington, D.C. Thank you all for joining us. Where else would you rather be than a Zoom full of Penn Staters? Good afternoon. I'm Paul Clifford, CEO of the Penn State Alumni Association, and I'd like to welcome everybody to today's virtual speaker series titled, What Can Penn State Do for Your Startup or Current Business? Live closed captions are available for this event. You can access them by clicking the closed caption button at the bottom of your Zoom video window, and then by clicking Show Subtitle. You can also customize your caption view by clicking the stream to text link posted in the chat. And we are live streaming today's presentation, which will be archived and available on our website after the event. Invent Penn State is a commonwealth-wide initiative to spur economic development, job creation, and student career success. Our guest today, John Peterson, is a business consultant for the Penn State Small Business Development Center that reports into the Office of Entrepreneurship and Commercialization. This is a coordinated effort that spans the university's 24 campuses, all of our academic colleges, including the College of Medicine and Penn State Law. John will highlight what his office does for Penn State and showcase some of the Invent Penn State initiatives. These initiatives blend entrepreneurship-focused academic programs, business startup training and incubation, funding for commercialization, and university and community industry collaborations to facilitate the challenging process of turning research discoveries into valuable products and services that can benefit Pennsylvanians and humankind. Thank you for joining us, John Peterson. I'll turn it over to you.
Good afternoon, Paul and everyone. Thank you for this time to be part of this great program. So totally excited to showcase what we have here at University Park and through all of Penn State. So I'm going to start the slide presentation that we have here. And please indicate if you cannot see the slideshow. But again, we're here. I'm here to showcase what we have for Penn State's entrepreneurial ecosystems, partners, and resources. So for me, I'm an alumnus. I graduated from Penn State in 2003 in a degree in marketing. I attended Du Bois Penn State, where I'm currently the president of the Alumni Association. And better not, I'm also alumnus of Small Business College, where I was on their advisory board for numerous years. So totally excited to be part of alumnus as well as an employee at Penn State. So I definitely bleed blue and white every day. So to talk about the great resources that we have here through Penn State, we have some great programming. In recent years, this current period, we are through a new initiative that was through the past President Barron's initiative called Invent Penn State. And again, we're working through how to commercialize products, how to help services with different businesses. And it could be for your startup, it could be for your existing business, and it can be a business that's small or a large corporation that you might be running. So through Penn State, we're really catalyzing what we're doing for innovation. And we have a lot of different angles that we can approach. And we are a $1 billion university when it comes to research. And we have a huge economic impact to what we have with the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, as well as nationwide and worldwide with different partners that we have. And so again, we report into what's called the Office of Senior Vice President of Research. Again, we are one of the leaders in the nation for research funding. Again, $1 billion in research that goes into innovation and creation in all different aspects within our great institution. So through that, we look at, how do we build and create intellectual property here through the university? We work with other businesses to understand what are their problems and can we help them out with a possible solution? And can they commercialize them? We use that word commercialization, but can we really bring it to the market and it's something that we can create and sell for others, and it can have a good economic good to it as well as a social impact to that. So again, we use a lot of different things when we talk about commercialization. The economic development of this also relates to what do we do for student programs, research, but also how does it impact alumni? And again, we are a land grant institution. So when we work with different businesses, whether it's going to be a retail shop, maybe it's a farmer, maybe it's an individual that is coming up with something for the petroleum industry. Again, all these angles we're going to work through. Our office specifically through the Office of Entrepreneurship and Commercialization that's underneath research and part of Invent Penn State, we're creating new programs, and there's statewide programs that we have of what's called the Innovation Network that I'll talk about, the LaunchBox systems. We also have great programs where if you have senior leadership that is needed, we have what's called a Startup Leadership Network. We also have where I work at the Small Business Development Center. We also get national funding from a National Science Foundation to learn more about customer discovery, what do customers need out there, and for potential and current entrepreneurs, what is the potential out there to create new solutions. So they really refine on different topics and to learn programming through that initiative. And we'll talk about Happy Valley LaunchBox amongst other groups that we have here. So ecosystems that we have, one of the things that is newer for Penn State on the side of entrepreneurship, economic growth is, how do we foster different types of startups? So what we have is what's called the LaunchBox and Innovation Network. And if you look at the right-hand quadrant of the state of Pennsylvania, there's currently 21 innovation spaces. And if you think about where we have all the different Commonwealth campuses, you'll see a great relation. And if you look at the population of Pennsylvania today, on average, every Pennsylvanian is usually within a 30-mile radius of a Commonwealth campus or one component of the innovation network. So we really want to create community connectivity with the Invent Penn State mission. And what does this all mean? We can help out with different types of programming. So during this program, we have helped over 6,000 businesses in different needs. We've actually helped out with gaining funding for these individuals. We're approaching 30 million alone on this initiative, and we'll talk about other initiatives. But again, we have some great impact. And as again, looking at creating jobs, we're looking at 403 jobs with this data that we had at the end of the year of 2020. Another critical component is internships. Internships are great. We've created 431 of them. If you have a business and you're looking for how to give back to Penn State, there's no better way than helping out a Penn State student, helping them learn and learn through your business and industry. It's totally incredible. It's very rewarding, and it's one way that we can help out with our workforce development issue through the Commonwealth and what we're dealing with as a nation. So again, I'll talk a little bit about the LaunchBox Innovation Network. These are standalone programs that are going to be hosted in the communities of the Commonwealth campuses, as well as University Park. And they're going to have different programs that they have. There's accelerator programs. You might be wondering what that is. It could be anywhere from a 4-week to a 10-week session. There's the application process for entrepreneurs that have an idea. Maybe they have something that they already want to sell or commercialize. And we kind of teach them through different theories on real world experience on how do businesses start and launch. We'll give them tools and resources, whether it's additional consulting, books to read, but also, again, having them get out of the office and actually do some things out in the area. And that way they can understand and refine what's going on in the industry that they want to be, what they want to do in the marketplace, and go from there. We have some maker spaces. I'll highlight a maker space here at University Park and one at our Commonwealth campuses. We have the ability to prototype different fixtures. We also have some great law clinics that I'll talk about. There's pitch competitions for students, as well as there's also pitch competitions sometimes open to members out in the community. So you might not necessarily need to be a student, but you could be alumnus as well as someone in the community. Co-working space, it's a great area where you can bring your laptop, bring your notebook. You can interact with individuals in these open spaces. You can jump on a Penn State guest Wi-Fi, and actually it's high speed, so you can actually do different types of Zoom calls, interact with individuals. It's a nice neutral meeting spot, because a lot of us, when we started a startup, we might have not had a place to actually really call our own. A lot of startups might start in garages when you think of like people like Apple, but we have what's called co-working space, which is really great. We also have an awesome advisor network. If you're interested in giving back to young business owners, entrepreneurs, if you would like to be considered as an advisor or you seek an advisor, please let us know, and we'd be happy to get you connected to that. And we do speaker series. We have had individuals where they've ran multiple businesses, they scaled different corporations, or maybe they are in a startup in their second or third year. So we highlight a lot of different individuals in different walks of life. One of the newest additions that we have to one of the many buildings that we have at University Park is a brand new facility that is brought to us by the former president, Eric J. Barron. It's named after him. It's the Eric J. Barron Innovation Hub, and it is 6 floors. It has 65,000 square feet, and it houses the Happy Valley LaunchBox that I'll talk about. It has state-of-the-art entrepreneurial innovation resources for rapid prototyping and a new maker space I'll talk about. You're able to fabricate different things in some labs. There's going to be an area for student groups that deal with entrepreneurship to actually be housed in our area. And there's a lot more programming that we have. So you can just see the first 3 floors are really tailored to maybe what offices is for entrepreneurship commercialization. There's an Office of Technology Management that controls and monitors the intellectual property that comes in and out of the university. So a lot of connectivity within this building. It's located downtown State College. It used to be where the Collegian paper used to be edited and published right here. So again, we have some solid roots in the foundation of this ground to get news out, but now we're bringing out innovation out to the world. So one of the great spaces that we have in here is a brand new fixture that we have called Origin Labs. This is going to give us a fair amount of square footage where we can actually get our hands dirty, and we can look at different types of services on how to make things. So they're going to give us the ability to really anyone in the community in Pennsylvania to come in. There's no affiliation to Penn State required, but you can come in and you can get trained on equipment. And that equipment could be CNCs, it could be routers, it could be learning how to weld, but also there's going to be skilled building workshops where, again, these are going to be introductory courses to help you prototype and fabricate different items that you want to create a widget someday, whatever it is. Again, they're going to do it through different aspects, whether it's going to be with wood, metal. They're also going to have different components for circuit boards, high-level 3D printers, and they will have individuals that can consult you if you want to come in, you want to create a brand new item They want to talk about the materials, the aesthetics, the feel, the cost, and they'll be able to help you kind of give you different versions of these. Also, there will be some very high technical equipment that the public will not be able to use, but they'll be able to help engineer and prototype those through the back side of the shop. And it'll be great for different businesses as well as individuals where they're working on something to partner with us on these different endeavors. Another great thing that we started off with Happy Valley LaunchBox approximately about 6-7 years ago. It used to be on Allen Street. Now it's housed on the second floor of the Innovation Hub. It's a huge co-working space. We have classes that come in and out, and they learn about different topics such as customer discovery, understanding how to talk to strangers, individuals about problems, talking to subject matter experts to really realize what does an entrepreneur want to create and innovate or bring a new product to life. They have different programming where they'll work with students, they'll work with community members, work with alumni, and using this space is at no cost. So when you come in Monday through Friday, during the week, you can hop on the guest Wi-Fi and you can use it. It's a great way to collaborate with other entrepreneurs, business people. So we want it to really be a nice hub for innovators and creators to show up. There's also exceptional educational and accelerator programs that we have. And also that's where we talk about our advisor network. One of the things to highlight that we have is a summer founders program. So when we talk about funding, this is just one of many, many programs out there. This one is more student focused, but it is funded and sponsored by alumnus through Penn State. And this program is where it gives startups with at least one Penn State founder associated a grant of $15,000 to work on their idea. And really this idea is to help out social good. Maybe it's a nonprofit idea, maybe it's working on that product that they're really trying to develop. And they use this program for about 10 weeks during the summer. And really it's solely focused on scaling and creating a startup. So it's really exciting. So they'll have weekly consultations with different advisors. They'll have coaching sessions. They have space 24/7 here where they can actually work on the ideas if they want to get in really early or if they have to pull an all-nighter on something and really come out with something tangible at the end of it, as well as gain some real world experience on really how to start a business. Again, with LaunchBox, they have some other programming. And so this is a great example at Du Bois, Penn State. They have what's called the North Central LaunchBox. So every LaunchBox that is connected to a Commonwealth campus will have a different sense of feel, have needs for the community. So this LaunchBox here, they have a space where you can go and work on your idea, but they also have different things such as 3D printers. They have a commercial vinyl printer to help create prototypes of marketing materials. They will work with local businesses. I have a picture here of our chancellor and Alex Gasberry, who's at the bottom of our screen here. Gasberry Products has been a great sponsor for different programming at North Central LaunchBox. So they've been able to work together on developing automation training for the manufacturing industry. They work with heavy duty hydraulic presses and more. And so with Gasberry Products, they'll be able to house some of the equipment at the LaunchBox, but also they're using different products and training through their Commonwealth campus in Du Bois to really help out with their workforce development needs. And in this space, again, they have all the other stuff. They have the advisors, they have space where they can meet with individuals. They have also different types of educational accelerator programs. And also they can work with the continuing and community education program that they have at Du Bois, Penn State for their workforce development. So this is just one example that shows what other LaunchBoxes do across the Commonwealth. Other things that I talked about was, Penn State Law was mentioned. Penn State Law has 2 different clinics, and they're incredible. They've been a wonderful resource to the community, students and faculty and alumnus. And the first one is what we call the Penn State Entrepreneurship Assistance Clinic. This clinic is housed by 3 full-time attorneys and roughly 20 to 24 students in their 2nd and 3rd year. This is a pro bono service. No affiliation to Penn State is required. having residency in Pennsylvania is definitely key with this. Again, we're looking at students, community members, individuals that might not be able to afford an attorney at this point. And really they're focusing on talking about partnership agreements, business structure formation, understanding what is the difference between the sole proprietor and what the difference is between maybe an LLC or how to become incorporated. So the nice thing is that we've seen a lot of clients go through my office at the Small Business Development Center or a LaunchBox use it. So again, they will work with other startups, not only with Penn State, but other universities, as long as they're in Pennsylvania, to get these businesses launched due to the financial needs that they need. And again, they're really focusing on business formation as well as different requirements that they might need for articles of corporation or other topics such as HR. The other one that they have is fabulous. It's a different side of Penn State law, but it's going to be the intellectual property clinic. And again, pro bono services. And what we're really looking at is, again, individuals that don't have access to legal counsel at this time. And again, they're also partnering with the United States Patent and Trademark Office, which is an incredible program. And what they're doing is they're looking at searches to make sure what you might be working on for maybe what's copyrighted or trademarked, or you have some IP, as we call it, intellectual property. We're really looking to see if there's a patent that should be associated to this. How do they go through the filing for this? Is it patent pending? Or are there anything out there that's already been established with your idea or product on it? And they can do a lot of different things. I've had businesses where they're building a training program that's proprietary. There's different things that go into the music industry. There's other ones that go into formulations of chemicals and different processes for major industries and stuff. So it's really interesting. It's a great resource, and again, pro bono resource again to help out startup businesses that might not otherwise have a financial means. And then there's other things at Penn State. So again, we talked about the LaunchBox systems where you can meet and create. We also have what's called Innovation Park here at State College, Center County. And again, this is right beside where the Penn Stater is. But we have multiple buildings. We have 118 acres of different office space. And if you are looking to set up a lab, you're setting up a brand new business, or you want to have a second location, please consider coming to Happy Valley. We have great floor plans. We have other areas where we have some different buildings for different needs and stuff. And we have a lot of great resources. There's also the Penn Stater that's here. So you already have 300 rooms, conference facilities. So not only could you have your business here, but you could have your conference hosted here as well. And again, in this industrial park is home to some different areas that I'll highlight, not all of them, but a few of them, but there's been Ben Franklin Technology Partners. My office is actually up there, my primary office, as well as PennTap, Corporate Engagement Center, and Office Industrial Partnerships. And those are groups that are very key, where we're working with large corporations, again, on helping them out with strategic planning, commercialization projects. When they have a critical need in the industry, they're tapping into Penn State research, faculty, students, internship programs, a whole host of different things that I could talk about all day long. So some great resources at Innovation Park, and that's ran by Dan Leary. To talk about a little bit about what I specifically do, I work for the Penn State Small Business Development Center, and we provide confidential consulting for different small businesses. And a small business, sometimes people think it's 100 employees or less. That's actually not the case. We follow our guidelines through the Small Business Administration. We get our funding through the federal government. And one of the interesting things is that the federal government deems a small business by a couple of different categories. So they look at what type of industry category you're in, what is your revenue, and then what is your employee full-time equivalent headcount. So there's some clients I work with that might exceed 500 employees, and I have some other businesses that easily exceed $200 million. So when we look at what a small business is, There are the obvious size that are going to be smaller, but again, what we might have in some of our local communities, large, is still a small business in the eyes of the federal government. So we provide some great aspects. And again, I'm located downtown at the President J. Barron Innovation Hub, but our whole office is at Innovation Park. So we do connect with a lot of different spaces on campus and off campus. About the SBDC, so it's a nationwide network. There's over 900 of our offices across the country. Specifically for Penn State, we cover 4 counties. So we cover Lycoming, Clinton, Center County, of course, and Mifflin County. And we're connected with other institutions, whether it's Pitt University, Temple, Gannon, Kutztown, and it's a great resource. Our resources, again, are no cost or low cost, as I say it. And there's 5 key attributes that we do. We do one-to-one consulting. When you work with us, you sign a non-disclosure and agreement for services. And that one consulting might be a one-time meeting, or we're meeting weekly to get your business launched. For me personally, I've been with Penn State for a little bit over 4, going on 5 years. I've helped out nearly 60 businesses start, bringing in over $30 million in funding alone. So there's a lot of exciting things that go into that side. Training is really critical. So when we look at businesses that want to launch, or maybe they're just stuck, they need a refresher with QuickBooks. Maybe they need help with their social media strategy, or they're looking at how to file a patent or different things. We have different types of trainings that go into that. And we also tailor different things that might be within agriculture. And for example, we have an office within our office called the Office of Excellence for Agriculture, or we can help out with people that are in ag science, or they're in element where they're in a family farm or dairy, or someone that's actually working on orchards or different things with animals for commercialization. Information is a great attribute that we have too. We talk about what customer discovery is, and we talk about what primary data is. And primary data is talking to individuals and doing surveys and collecting information from subject matter experts. But then the other side of it is that we work with a lot of different databases that venture capital, angel firms use, lenders use, and we use that secondary data for research to show proof of relevancy as we help someone maybe work on a business plan. And a business plan is one of the many tools that we use in the resource quadrant. So resources helping out people build their pitch deck, a business plan that they maybe want to show to a lender to expand their business, or to get into their first building, starting out as a small business. And referrals. Referrals are huge. So a lot of my time I'm referring my clients to other parts of Penn State, but also to chambers, maybe talking to different municipalities, whether it's engineering firms, talking about different needs that might be out there for cybersecurity and stuff. So we work with a lot of non-Penn State partners within Pennsylvania, as well as through the federal government, to make sure that any business, any entrepreneur, corporation out there has the resources that they need. So I'll talk about some other wonderful groups that we have here in the ecosystem at Penn State. So the next one is going to be Ben Franklin Technology Partners. They're funded by DCED, but also they are the most interesting component, I believe, at the university, where they can actually help fund investors in technology. So if you are a tech business, whether that is you are developing some type of technology, whether it's through something that's cloud-based, or you have an innovative product that deals with food science, this is the place to really interact with as well. Their offices are right beside SBDCs up at Innovation Park. They've been investing in startups for over 30 years, and they have different programs. I'm actually a coach for their Tech Accelerator program, which is a 10-week cohort to help out businesses build up their idea, to create a pitch deck to share with investors, to refine their ideas, and to use a lot of the Penn State system that I just talked about. They also have a big idea contest, and the big idea contest happens at University Park, but also at other parts of the state. So our technology office that handles Ben Franklin It's actually what's called the Central North Pennsylvania Ben Franklin. So there's 4 of them. This one here handles about 32 different counties, the whole way from Harrisburg, the whole way up to Erie. And they host these different big idea contests, whether it's on Penn State or through some different other institutions. So again, this is the place where if you have innovation, you can work with a lot of different groups, but this arm of Penn State actually gets funding to help businesses start up and grow, which is great. Another great institution is called PennTap. So this is a Pennsylvania Technical Assistance Program. And this department is also connected with an Invent Penn State. So on the commercial side, where it's called the Office of Industrial Partnerships. They have their area broken up in 6 different regions with advisors that are highly technical, and they deal again with energy assessments, operational assessments. They help you out with grants and university engagement. They work with a great program called the Learning Factory, where you get teamed up with individuals at the College of Engineering and students, and they really look at what is working with your business. So you might have a plasma cutter that might need to be replaced at your shop, and they'll look at if you buy a brand new one, what is the energy savings with that? They will help you out with maybe you're looking and entertaining the idea of solar. We're going to talk about the energy savings with that. When we dealt with the exchange of different technology and light bulbs about 10 years ago, they did a lot of different attributes where they enhanced and helped a lot of different businesses with their lighting and energy needs. So they are a great connector, whether you're a small business or a large corporation in Pennsylvania. They definitely work with a lot in agriculture, manufacturing, as well as just many other industries. And then the other thing that we have is if you go to the website at event.psu.edu tools resource navigator, but if you just Google Penn State or Invent Penn State resource navigator, there's 3 navigators, how to navigate through our whole ecosystem. So I'm not going through every program, but highlighting just few of the many that we have here on campus. And these 3 different navigators have a really good way to really search what you're looking for, what type of help. So the resource navigator, that's maybe where you find out different elements where there's different connectors, such as myself through the Penn State SBDC, where you see where Ben Franklin Technology Partner shows up. The IP navigator is a great navigator where it talks about what research, what property is coming through the university. And then the startup navigator is going to talk about the startups that have come through the university. So if you want to learn about their story or what other products that they use, it's a great tool that we have. And then there's annual events that alumni, community members, or students might want to participate in. And we have a lot of neat programming that we have. So one of them that we have is GEW, which is Global Entrepreneurship Week. This is a worldwide celebration hosted by our office of the Penn State Small Business Development Center. We work with campus as well as off-campus partners to talk about and to really share what's going on in the entrepreneur communities. We provide programming to help out on different levels of education. So we look at what's going on with different needs, whether it might be social challenges. We look at what's going on with policies. We'll make sure that we educate people that come to our programming. And again, a lot of it can be panels and workshops and learning what you can do here at Penn State University, but we also give the ability to have local chambers, other organizations in the Pennsylvania ecosystem to talk about entrepreneurship. So it's a great way to attend or be involved as a panelist. And this happens once a year, roughly in the month of November, this happens. In the springtime, what we have is what's called Startup Week. And what Startup Week is actually powered by PNC. It's a great program where it's focused with a lot of students to talk about the different things that, the challenges that are with different founders. We have programming at Pagola, programming downtown State College this year at 3 Dots, which is a great artistry community networking space, as well as here's at the Eric J. Innovation Hub. So again, these are university-wide events. So not only are they maybe here at University Park, but they are also hosted at other campuses across the Commonwealth. Another competition to highlight is we have what's called the IncU competition. And again, when we talk about different ways to get funding on different things, this is where we have undergrad teams and we support them for roughly $30,000 in cash in this investment. And we have teams that work on different ideas and solutions. And this is actually powered by PNC as well. And this is a great program to help out with different initiatives with students and their startups. And sometimes this gets put on our local WPSU TV station as well. And then last to highlight is that we have the Venture IP Conference. This is hosted roughly every year to year and a half. It's at the Penn State, at the Penn Stater. This year, it's going to be hosted in Hershey, Pennsylvania. We want to definitely connect with other groups. So when we look at the College of Medicine, Hershey, there's so much innovation down in that area. We know that'd be a great area and somewhere a new place where people can travel, learn about what's going on with Penn State. Again, this is where we want to have us be one of the largest mid-Atlantic conferences in the space for venture and intellectual property. Great panels. We have well-attended. We've always had well attendance here in University Park. Moving it down to Hershey, as I said, and again, whether you're talking about advanced manufacturing, you're looking at bioscience, you're looking at different types of things to bring to the market, new innovative ideas. This is the place that a lot of people come to, and we're happy to be hosting that continually and excited for the new spot that we'll have at Hershey, Pennsylvania, at Hershey Lodge coming up in October. And just to kind of summarize, we highlight a lot of different things, but the biggest thing for the audience here is that we have campuses, we have colleges, and we have centers. So these are kind of like the 3 C's that I think of my mind when I work with a lot of different businesses and entrepreneurs on who can help them. And sometimes it's very much, working with a certain college, and maybe someone has, maybe it is a supply chain issue, a finance question. They need to really find out what are the trends going on in accounting or give feedback. We're going to look at, maybe the folks at SMIL, or we have another topic. We're going to work with other colleges. We have some of the best colleges when it comes to science or medicine, as I'm highlighting on the slide deck. Maybe it's something dealing with, what's underground, when we look at mining, when we look at, what's going on in the petroleum and gas industry, we have earth mineral science. So we have numerous, colleges that we work with when it comes to innovation. So when we work with the College of Communications, there's a lot of entrepreneurs that come out of that college. So we see a lot of connectivity, and from all of them. So again, through Invent Penn State, we're through research. And so we're not connected to a campus. We're not connected to a college. We're not connected to a center. We're connected to all of them because we want to make sure that we provide the right service, but also, there's a lot of people out there that can help. And that's where we're at. Your campuses, don't forget about them, because again, we have numerous across the Commonwealth. So again, such a world-class research faculty at all these institutions. So again, they have a real local feel. It's going to be a great resource, and it can really help you out for your community workforce needs if you partner with the faculty and chancellors in those areas. And the centers, these centers are, whether they're here at University Park or they're at other campuses, full range wide, there is a lot of them out there. And just to highlight, when we look at centers and colleges, there's a College of Medicine. They have a center. The center is called the Center for Medical Innovation. So again, it's providing service-oriented needs through the Penn State system to help out economic and social value. And again, they're looking to streamline what are the processes out there to innovate new technologies through commercialization pipelines to help out maybe big industry out there, also creating some disruptive progress. And also, we want to make sure that we have a positive economic and social impact to the community. So just wanted to highlight kind of how that connects from centers to colleges, but also the local feel to campuses. And Paul, I am done at this time, and I thank everyone for this time, and I'm happy to talk more about why we're here.
All right, John, we have a bunch of questions coming in, so why don't we get to those?
Sure.
A couple of them are referencing location. So let's go through a few of those. So are these services limited to companies founded in Pennsylvania?
I would say so. That's a very broad question, right? So if you are a startup, if you want to work with the Penn State Small Business Development Center, you typically need to be a business that wants to relocate to Pennsylvania or be in Pennsylvania. But let's say you're a big corporation. You are a corporation in Texas and you're like, hey, there's a subject matter expert. I need to get a hold of someone. Reach out to us. And so, that might be through one of the colleges that might be there, as well as we can work through Penn State, Invent Penn State. So Invent Penn State, again, has local resources, and I'll call them local resources, very, very local, let's say here in Center County, state resources, and then we have nationwide, worldwide resources. So I think would have to kind of look at that a little bit deeper. So I'd say the answer is yes. And sometimes there might be some conditions with that, just knowing a little bit more of the background, but we want to work with all businesses as much as possible.
So another question along the same lines, seeing the great impact and scope for national startups. So curious to see what are the opportunities for impact in industries outside the United States?
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question with that. And one thing that we do see is that, not all startups that come out here, but I mean, there's some that, are or could be making a global impact. So again, we do have, a good amount of students that come abroad. And I can definitely tell you that we have helped through the LaunchBox system, international students. And again, giving them the ability and knowledge that they can take from here back to home, where their countries are, and really establish some of their own businesses and ideas. So again, when they come to Penn State, when they come to any college, you have a college student that's really fired up, geared up to go, and they want to learn and educate. And we want to give them as many possible, educational elements, but also practicality out there to establish a business or to make whatever is better at home for them. I definitely see the second or third generation students here, and they're like, hey, I came here for my education. My parents maybe went to Penn State or another university, or it's their first time. They're going back and they want to transfer this knowledge to help out their businesses internationally as well.
Okay, a couple more along those lines. Do you have to have access to a Penn State campus in order to take advantage of the resources? What if you are an alum living out of state?
Yeah, I mean, I think it just depends on the topic. Again, pretty broad. If you have a business or startup idea, hopefully when we're done with this whole thing, I'll put out my email, and feel free to email me and we can connect you with the right people. So again, if it's a startup, it might be a certain type of discussion pathway, but there's a lot of resources and tools that we want to help. So it's easier when you're in Pennsylvania, but also nationwide. Again, there's things that are just as easy as well. So we'll make sure that you get connected to whether it's my office, someone through Invent Penn State, or one of the campuses or one of the colleges to give you the best help for your business needs.
Great. Danita wants to know, are the LaunchBox and business development services at the Commonwealth campuses as comprehensive as those offered at UP?
Yes. So the programming will vary, but again, the base of everything, the platform of it is the same. So again, when we talk about the educational element of customer discovery, we're using a book called The Mom Test. These individuals that run the LaunchBox, they report into one person that actually kind of helped found the first LaunchBox. And so again, when we look at the base program, and programming will vary from one LaunchBox to another, but the core of the programming that gets established is going to be consistently the same. And then those individuals that are the directors or chief amplifiers of these spaces, they actually meet on a quarterly basis to refine education, to refining, what are the new topics, what are they working on, and they share different ideas. So there's times where maybe a couple of them are doing some things more unique, and maybe that's maybe providing some programming in Spanish because of a local area, for example, or they're talking about initiatives with women in business. And again, they're going to cross promote that to other launch boxes.
Okay, another one around location. This is an interesting question. So they are an e-commerce brand. They sell products nationwide, but are not a registered business in Pennsylvania. Would that matter or change the resources offered? There were a couple questions that have come in similar to this about online and e-commerce businesses.
Yeah, I work with a lot of e-commerce businesses that are based here, and they sell and distribute. But again, it's an interesting market because now every state has some different things they're establishing for the purchase and sales of goods that are going through. So I work with e-commerce. I work with even like some ghost kitchens and stuff like that. So when we look at the e-commerce, again, you're shipping across the US, but also if you're like out of state shipping into Pennsylvania, would still like to talk to you and learn about what you're doing, because I mean you're a Penn Stater, so we want to definitely see what resources that are out there to help you, to support you.
So basically the answer is whether you're in Pennsylvania or anywhere else in the world, give you all a call or connect with you all, and you may be able to help at certain levels depending on where you are in the world.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and definitely. So, we, with Penn State, we're federally funded with some programming, state funded programming on some levels, and some of it's funded, through the institution itself. So depending on what group and program that you work with, there's different rules and regulations on who can help and how it can help. But I think the end result is that there's a whole army here, and we're here to help. And I think if one group necessarily can't help, I think another group can, depending on the topic, the subject, the geography, and what the need is. And we have a lot of resources here. And again, $1 billion in research, top-notch faculty, awesome students. We're definitely here to help any way that we can and fulfill our land grant mission to Pennsylvania, but also to make an impact for the social good in the world.
So a couple of questions coming in along the same line. So let me try to rephrase them. Yeah. I show up at any one of our launch boxes or pick up the phone and call you. Mm-hmm. What's the process that you will take those entrepreneurs through? Whether it's, I have an idea, I present it to you. Yeah. What do the next steps look like?
Yeah, I can tell you from some of the launch boxes I've been in, and even at my office, what's going to typically happen if you walk in. We're going to say, hey, how's it going? But also, what are you working on? What are your ideas? We need to have kind of like a discovery meeting to really understand what do you need? What do you want? Sometimes we have people come in and they're like, I need help with marketing. But then, we learn a little bit more, but they maybe not need help with marketing. Maybe it's help with sales, or maybe to really understand, is there a market to sell your goods or service to sometimes? So, that first meeting, whether it's through an SBDC, Small Business Development Center, or a LaunchBox, is really to discover and have a conversation. So depending on, the day and when you walk into one of these, it's really to understand, where are you now? Where would you like to go? And what are some of your goals? And then from there, then we can understand what are those, and then from there start providing resources and figure out what those are and get an idea of what is success to you as the entrepreneur.
Excellent. Ray is asking about the National Nonprofit Score.
Yes.
He's wondering if have you ever worked with any joint ventures for the multiple SCORE chapters in Pennsylvania?
Yeah. So two things. I'm a member of SCORE myself. So SCORE is not related to Penn State, but SCORE is a nationwide program that's funded by the Small Business Administration. SCORE is awesome. So SCORE is set up as a volunteer base, and what they call themselves are mentors. So I'm a SCORE mentor. So if I want to volunteer my time, it's great because they focus on nonprofits, existing businesses, and startups And those individuals are going to be more seasoned professionals. They used to be retirees. They used that word retirees, and now they're letting young individuals like me help out if we have so much experience, and they go through a vetting process. So SCORE actually was in our office yesterday. And so I work with SCORE off and on through my SBDC side. So I'm paid, to do my job, 8 to 5, 9 to 5, whatever it is. But then I bring in a SCORE individual sometimes because I'm a generalist. But if I need to have someone that maybe had, a VP role in HR, they were able to come in and help provide some guidance to a business, and we can co-consult with that. And that's the nice thing with these other launch boxes or other parts of Penn State. It's just not about Ben Franklin or all about an SBDC or all about LaunchBox. We want to work with each other and give someone the best support system. So here in Central PA with our SCORE chapter is so active that they actually got picked up by 8 other counties recently for their work and for their volunteerism, that's even a word, to be helping out. So there's a lot of connectivity, at least here through SCORE.
We have time for just a couple more. Question coming in on Facebook. Who would own the IP for a proof of concept, or would there be a revenue share? I think I know that you all, well, I'll let you answer it, but you all don't take a piece of this.
Yeah.
Of
so
this coming out of the,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. If you work through, let's say you're a community member or alumnus, you come in and you have your own idea, your own homegrown intellectual property, will help you get through all that process, whether it's through the law clinic, LaunchBox, SBDCs, whatever. That is your own IP. If you are a student doing research, faculty doing research, anything that is here on campus that's related to, and especially with certain types of funding, then you're going to work with the Office of Technical Management. And that's where we talk about how does this IP, whether we talk about whether, who gets a share of what or revenue sharing, that type of thing. So that's connected more with the university side. But there's also businesses out there. Let's say you have a problem. Penn State has maybe something that they're working on through research. You guys partner. So an outside industry partner comes in, and it's just, company ABC, they come in, it's a medical company, and Penn State Medicine has something together. Then they would join forces together, and then they have to negotiate. How does that work? Because again, Penn State is not a manufacturer. We're not a factory. We're not a scientific company, but we do scientific research. And that's where those industrial relationships come hand in hand. But if it's just Paul Clifford coming off the street, he's got a great invention, he's going to work on something new, we're going to work with you, but you own your own IP if it's everything that you've done on your own in your garage.
So David wants to know if you can review and critique a business plan.
So we can. So the SBDCs, that's what we specialize is definitely we help people build, review business plans. We don't write them. So I always kind of say that we're kind of like the 80-20 rule where, you got to do 80% of the work. We'll help out with 20% of it. The 20% of it is refining the flow, the template, the aesthetics of it, making sure you have all the contents. We'll help you do some research to make sure it's in your business plan. So we definitely help review. We just don't help writing them word for word. So, but we'll definitely coach you through it.
So Amanda wants to know, does the center offer networking, matchmaking, or connections either between small businesses or with larger corporations?
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily matchmaking, but I think, we talk about, if a small business comes in and they have something that they want to work with. So, whether it's a supplier, a vendor relationship, or maybe they're trying to do a joint venture, there's a couple things, we need to learn, what are they looking to do? We always say, hey, maybe there's a Penn State connection, right? So, we look at a Penn State alum who's on that other side of the fence that you want to talk to. If it is within a bigger industry, We also will look at, maybe if we don't have our local contacts here at our office, again, have we worked with the College of Engineering or the College of so-and-so and the College of, such and such, to see if there's anything to build those relationships. So again, we have, an Office of Industrial Partnerships. So that's where we'd look at those angles and those opportunities. Again, there just needs to be the right fit and the right need and the right time. But again, a lot of Penn Staters out there to network with.
Absolutely. Well, John, we are up on time. I wanted to thank you for joining us today on the virtual speaker series. You mentioned that you were going to put your email up, but we will have a follow-up. We will have a follow-up email that'll go out to everybody that includes the recording and ways that they can be in touch with you. I see you're putting it in the chat now, so I will wait a couple seconds until you drop that information in there. But John, thanks so much for joining us on the virtual speaker series today.
Thank you, Paul, and I really appreciate everyone listening to me today. Again, here at Penn State, we're really looking at driving economic growth, helping out entrepreneurs and existing businesses. So happy to be part of today.
Excellent. I want to thank everybody for joining us. As a reminder, you can view a full listing of all of our events online and in person at our website at alumni.psu.edu/events. Again, thanks for joining us and for all you do for the university, for the glory, and for the future. We are
Penn State.